right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. If you're watching us on, Twitter or whatever, you want to chat with us, jump in on our YouTube. Go check out the channel. I tweeted out the link. That way you can actually talk to us on there. I don't know why you can't do it on Twitter or X, but whatever. Join us there. We're going to talk to you guys tonight a little bit about the Heisman. Just, I know it was last weekend type thing, whatever. But we were busy, so we're going to hit a little bit about that. We're going to talk some of the bowl games. Currently, we're waiting on Memphis, West Virginia, but there's a damn basketball game on. Really? Who gives a shit? Come on, we want bowl mania. We want that going down. So tonight, Trevor and myself for right now. Blake's going to jump on. His computer did an update. You know how technology is. So let's jump in, talk a little bit of Heisman. I think most people agreed that it was a two-man race, Trevor. I know Gabriel and Scadaboo, guys like that were on the outside looking in. But I think everybody knew it was going to be Jonty and Travis Hunter. But when it came down to it, the voters, they went with Hunter. So congrats to him on that. But what do you guys think, or what do you think, Trev? I thought Jonty got robbed.
He did. But, it's called a popular vote for a reason.
Maybe
it's
Rob
called a popular vote for a reason, and that's all it was. That's all this is. That's all the Heisman has come into, because statistically speaking, Ashton Jonty had a better season overall, in my opinion. The reason Hunter's numbers where they were is because the amount of snaps he had played. It's just a sheer numbers game, and he was the only target for, I would say, good 7 weeks of the season that Colorado had faith in. They started spreading the ball around. I'd say, about week 8, give or take. But other than that, it was all Hunter all the time. Doesn't necessarily mean he was the best. He was their only option. So
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like Ashton. I looked at the numbers. Ashton Jonty's numbers were double what Reggie Bush's numbers were when he won the Heisman.
Yeah.
And I you can say, oh, the competition, you can say this, that, or the other. I don't care. The fact of the matter is that no matter what, you're playing D1 college football, to do those kind of numbers is absolutely incredible. Yes. He should have won the Heisman. It was stolen by the Colorado and the Little Wayne and the Sanders family, and
they had the whole crew.
They had the whole friggin' crew there. It was just a shit show at whatever.
Did you watch the ceremony?
I watched it and I turned it off as soon as he won because I was pissed. I wanted Boise State to have a Heisman. I wanted it so bad.
Man, I did too. I haven't watched the Heisman ceremony. I feel like in a couple of years. I don't know. Maybe since Hutch was up there.
Yeah.
But that, obviously that's the Michigan biased fan in me. But I don't know. I feel like when you take Travis Hunter, put him on, or take him off the team, where would Colorado be at? If you take Jonty off the team, where would Boise be at? I still think Boise is a good team. They win games, but I mean that man carried them. I just feel like he was the most important, the best player out there. So that's where I would have leaned. But
yep.
I mean, he's still a beast. I mean, the dude went off.
He's going to be a great. He's going to be a great NFL player. And here's the great news, fellas, boys and girls. There is no more Travis Hunter. There is no more Shedeur Sanders. They're going to the NFL. They're their problem now.
Yeah. Hey, I know. Colorado was a team that everybody loved to hate there for a minute. It's like when Prime started, it was okay. We can fuck with this. We can rock with this guy. And then all of a sudden,
they started talking.
They started running their mouth.
That's right.
And then everybody started hating on them. They became the villain. Blakeson, by the way, they became the villain that everybody was like, I hope these guys fail, And then what happened this year? They were talking shit. The same thing. They were losing games, and then they shut up, and then they started winning. And then people are like, okay, maybe don't mind them too much. Blake, welcome in. We're just talking a little bit about the Heisman. How we thought Jonty got snubbed, even though Travis Hunter still had a hell of a season. We just thought it should have gone to Johnson and Boise State. Your thoughts on it before we kick off to the bowls?
I agree. Well, he did at running back. Well, I mean, it's not just hate on Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
I know he gets a lot of it, but what Genty did at running back, what I look at is if you removed each player from their team, how would each team fare without that person?
Yeah.
And I think Colorado has the same record without Travis Hunter. And
I agree.
There's 3 or 4 games on the schedule that Boise State does not win if Genty is not in the backfield, to me. And that's not to say that Hunter is not a great player, because he definitely is. But to me, the Heisman goes to the most outstanding player in college football. And I think Genty was the most outstanding player this year. I mean, it doesn't mean that he's the best running back. It doesn't mean that Travis Hunter.
Did he lag out?
Yeah, I think you like that.
That's a beautiful still shot of him. Oh,
that was a beautiful still shot.
There he is. Well, it lagged for a second.
I don't know what was heard and what wasn't, but yes.
without a doubt, yes. And he's gone. Okay. Hey, but like I said, I should have screenshotted that shit. That was a beautiful still.
Was awesome.
I'll go back in the footage and fix that. Remember, ladies
we're gonna clip that one. We're gonna clip that one.
Exactly. This is live. Okay, we're doing it live.
I love it.
Look at that. The game is officially starting. West Virginia versus Memphis, and that's one of the first ones. Obviously, we're going to mention.
That's right.
Heisman, it's done. Some of the voters, I think, need to have their shit removed. Like, they should not be able to vote. The media members, like, I don't even know how they get to do that. Same with the people that vote in the AP poll. How is that? Like, how are these people allowed to vote in these polls?
I know.
I mean, some of them, their votes were turned in before conference championship week. Some of them were turned in even way before that. And some of the people that had a number one, I don't know. No disrespect to any of the players, but I mean, you gotta have an idea. You gotta feel what's going on.
That's right.
So I don't know. Revoke some voting rights, in my opinion. All right. While we wait on Blake, we'll just go ahead and jump into the bowls. And
that's right. Just keep it on going.
Yeah, we'll move on. So bowl week, these are the picks. We're not really doing pick them just because, one, with the transfer portal, it's insane to pick some of these bowl games. So many of these teams have had massive attrition. Marshall, they bailed out. They said they're done. They lost their coach and like 20 players. They said, we're done. We're cutting out. So Army got a new opponent. But the first one up, we're going to look at Memphis and West Virginia. And like I said, that one's just kicking off. You can kind of see it behind me there. But right now, Memphis they're looking like they've got a 5.5-point favorite right now over West Virginia. West Virginia fired their coach. They hired Rich Rodriguez. He's back. I love that
Rich Rod is coming back to the beginning where it all started.
I love it too, man. I'm glad they brought him back.
Look, Rich Rod had West Virginia rolling when he was doing it. They were.
Hell yeah.
They were in the top 25 a lot when he was coaching there.
I mean, that was it, man. And it was the Pitt game that screwed him out of playing for the Natty, and but then all of football changed after he decided to go to Michigan instead of Alabama. Then Michigan went to hell. And then I know Rich Rod catches a lot of shit for that, but there was other reasons for his failure there. But that's all beside the point. West Virginia playing Memphis tonight. Hennigan going out there. I think he's a good quarterback. I like what he's got going. But what do you think on this game? Who do you think pulls it out?
I'm rolling with Memphis all the way through. I picked him at the beginning. The start. Yeah, I picked him at the beginning, and I'm just going to keep on rolling with him.
Yeah, I don't know. Hennigan's last ride, it feels like it's going to be special. West Virginia's been dealing with stuff. They've lost a couple of guys in the portal, like Trotter. I mean, some of them are depth pieces, obviously, but it's still that hurts. I feel like Memphis is going to be able to pull this one out and get the win when it matters for this bowl game. I know people say bowl games don't matter anymore. They do. Blake's in. If you don't,
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Bowl games do matter, right? People say that, like, even if their teams get blown out, oh well, transport, whatever. No, I get it. You can have excuses, but it still counts as a win-loss. You still get trophies, and also getting to bowls matter because you get the extra practices. You get your younger guys in there. So I know it's more of a glorified, exhibition is what people say now, but I still think it's important to see what you got and what to attack from there.
Right.
Blake, we're talking Memphis and West Virginia. The game's just kicking off behind me. And curious your thoughts. Obviously, West Virginia lost coach. They brought in Rich Rod. What do you think on this game?
Yeah. Memphis will win this game handily.
Yeah. I kind of feel that way too, man. They
don't have nothing. Their team's falling apart, and Memphis's offense is very tough to stop. So
yeah, I like what they're working with, and like I said, Memphis, looking at their portal, they've lost a couple of players, but again, most of these I don't think they're going to be a factor in the game. So yeah, I'm rocking with Memphis in this one as well. Next one up, Western Kentucky and JMU. JMU is currently 7-point favorites, and Western Kentucky, they've lost their quarterbacks. I think this one's over for them. I think JMU is gonna walk away with it. Like we mentioned, it's so hard to talk about these games and to predict them because of the portal. Guys like 3Tech Pod, they did a great job of doing like a bowl breakdown, but then even they like, hey, it's so hard to look at what we have. So we're just kind of going off. You look at the portal, look at the attrition, and then also just what they've done on the season. JMU, I think, has it. Boys, what do you feel on this one?
I don't really give either team much thought, but I guess if I was to pick one, it's going to be JMU.
Yeah. It's just, Western Kentucky again. You lose players like that. It's tough to deal with in the bowl game. Blake,
same. Losing the quarterback hurt. Then Jack State beating up on them. It's just tough. And JMU has a solid team.
Yeah, I agree. But like I said, we're going to talk about Tulane here a little bit. You lost Finley at quarterback, and then you lose Velkamp as well, who really came on this year. So it's tough. Let's move on. We'll talk a little bit Cal UNLV, another portal attack here for Cal. They lost their starting quarterback Mendoza. He's pretty highly sought after. And Trevor's gonna not tonight. Is it tonight or the next one, Trevor? That you're doing the portal talk.
I'm gonna do it tonight.
Okay, so yeah, Trev's gonna mention portal.
I'm gonna talk about all this fun quarterback stuff.
We got some good stuff to cover. So make sure you guys jump in, sharing it. Like I said, if you want to talk about it, jump in. Oh Jesus, the Facebook comments. Oh Lord. All right, so. Yeah, if you want to talk to us, jump in on Facebook, on YouTube, all that. We'll talk ball with you guys. But either way, California, I don't see it happening. UNLV, they're 3-point favorites, number 24 in the country. But I don't think Cal's got it after losing Mendoza. He was it. Obviously, Ott and stuff like that too. But you lose a starting quarterback. That's so tough in a short period of time to fix. What do you guys think on the UNLV match?
I like UNLV, period.
I like UNLV, but I think that there is a potential for the Joe Schmo quarterback from Cal to come in and, do his thing and just not have a care in the world and just play lights out.
Yeah. And that's you mentioned portal and all this stuff, but anything can happen. You see what's on your bench and you see, hey, guys step in. Like even late last year, it was Miller Moss stepped into the bowl game and had a great bowl game for USC. And then now obviously the rest of the team has been shit this year, but still I think he's still a bright spot on that roster. And obviously he's leaving now. So we'll see. Maybe somebody will step in for Cal and get in there and do something for them. But like I said, we'll mention a lot more of the portal moving forward. I think we're all rolling with UNLV on this one. Yep. Next one up, we'll talk a little bit Georgia Southern versus Sam Houston. quick games, to mention. Georgia Southern had a solid season. Sam Houston did too, but then their coach stepped out, and now their offensive coordinator, I believe, stepped in to be the interim coach. Guys, any feelings on that one? Blake, I know you've got a connection with Sam Houston from the College Football 25 dynasty.
We're going for him.
Yeah, we're going for him, but I like him, man.
Well.
I don't know. Trev, you going Sam Houston, you going Georgia Southern?
I'm going to go Georgia Southern on this one just because that's like my old stomping grounds where Georgia Southern was. So
Yeah. No, I mess with it. Blake?
I'm going Sam Houston.
Sam Houston. Yeah, my bad. They're the Bearcats. They're 6-point favorites. And I feel like most of these are actually pretty big spreads, even when you get into the playoff games. And we're going to break down those here in a minute. Next one up, Ohio, Jackson State. Ohio's 3-point favorites. I'd like Jackson State. I don't know, just something about them since they came in. They've just been a team that I don't know. I like the way they're coached. I like how physical they are. I don't know. I'm riding with them. Boys, what are you feeling on this?
Jackson State sounds like a plan to me because I just don't trust any MAC team, really.
The old MAC attack.
MAC attack ain't it this year.
I think Ohio will end up winning the game. They're pretty consistent on both sides of the ball. Would like to see Jack State win, just home, but
yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and look, these games, I mean, the one we did miss because last week we were all busy, but South Alabama ended up taking down Western Michigan 30-23 in a tight game. Early, it kind of looked like South Alabama might start pulling away, but Western had a big fourth quarter, brought it back in. But anything can happen in these bowl games, and that's, again, why we love bowl season, because even with the portal and how it's tough to look at, you just never know, and you get to see maybe the rising stars for next year. And we'll talk about that quick. Tulane, Florida, that's the next one up on the list. And Tulane, huge attrition when it comes to the transfer portal. They've lost all 3 of their quarterbacks. So it's like God dang, man, what's happening? Finley, TJ Finley, who we just mentioned from Western Kentucky, is transferring into Tulane since they lost their guys. But Thompson's gone. Mensa's gone. He's going to Duke. So it's like, Tulane, what are you going to do? I mean, how do you field that with 4th-string quarterbacks? So Florida's probably going to roll. Otherwise, it's a cool matchup. But I think Florida's got this one in the bag, boys. And what are they? They're 13-point favorites.
Yeah. The bag if Tulane was fully healthy and had no transfers. Yeah, I'm riding the hot hand with Florida. Their defense has been playing really good, especially November on, and then with Lagway at quarterback. I mean, they're just a different team offensively.
Yeah, Lagway coming back in, getting healthy was a big help for them. I like this Florida team, and we'll see what they do going into 2025. All right, let's move on. Let's talk some playoff games here. And Indiana, Notre Dame, that's the first one. Weather report, it's looking like there might be some snow showers, I think, for that one. I'd have to double check, but either way, how are you guys feeling?
It affect Indiana much. I mean, they'll just
yeah, I mean, these guys are used to that. They're in it. What are you guys feeling on this game? Does Indiana have a chance to go into Notre Dame and knock them off?
Yes, because I think Notre Dame is a joke.
So I disagree. I think Notre Dame is better than people give them credit for. They run the ball really well. They've got a really good running back. And Leonard passing, maybe not the greatest, but he's good enough to manage the game. But his legs, I think it's going to give Indiana some issues. But that's not to say Indiana's not a talented team. They certainly are. I just think Notre Dame is a little better than people think they are. And I do think they'll ultimately win this game.
At this point, I am rooting for every underdog.
Oh, I mean, chaos would be glorious.
I want the whole chaos to happen. Let's go.
Yeah, I do too. And
no more Ohio State in the playoff. No more Penn State in the playoff. I am with this. Let's go.
Get them out. Get them out. Hey, look, when it comes down to Indiana, we saw them in a closer game against Michigan, but I think Michigan's defense was really turning it on towards the later half of the year after some position changes and just reassessing what they had to do. So that was a tight win for them. But then they went and played Ohio State, and you saw the mishaps when it came down to the special teams and little things like that. They cannot allow that to happen against Notre Dame, who's got a really solid running attack and in O-line. So when it comes down to Riley Leonard and them going on offense, they're going to put up some points. How much against this team, I don't know. When you look at who Notre Dame played, USC had issues defensively. Army, they've had issues. I know they were a ranked game for them for a minute there. Again, UVA issues, Florida State issues, Navy. So I'm looking at their schedule and I see who they've played, and I'm really not too impressed with their schedule. But Notre Dame has found a way to win, and most of their games they've done pretty well in them, and I'll give them credit for that. They did turn around from Northern Illinois, but I do think Indiana has a chance here. I think Rourke is still a good quarterback, and I think when you're here, you're going to have to be able to pass, and it's going to come down to Leonard and Rourke and who's able to not make the mistakes. So, guys, who'd you pick? Trev, you're going Indiana?
I really do think that they can win.
Let's see. We got.
I'm going Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. I'm gonna stand on business, John. I'm going with Indiana. I'm doing it, boys.
That means they're gonna lose.
Right.
Oh yeah, they're fried. But I'm doing it, boy. I've got to stand up and
maybe we should just all pick Notre Dame and just willed that to happen.
Damn it, that's true. Because last time we did that. Hold on. What was it? When we all picked Texas
A&M.
Yeah. I switched my pick, and I can't remember. Either way, I'm going Indiana. All right, next game, guys. SMU, Penn State. SMU traveling to State College there, Penn State. And I think this is the one there's supposed to be maybe a little bit of snow. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter.
It's going to be cold in Pennsylvania. Let's
SMU,
about it.
Their burner accounts are like, joke's on you. We love the white stuff. And obviously a lot of cocaine up in Dallas. But worst pick possibly ever. Brendan makes an all. Hey, thanks, Jake, bro. I appreciate you, buddy. You're a great American. But no, Indiana's gonna win. I'm telling you, trust the process. But look, Penn State, they've got Drew Lar coming back. They've had some issues going on, internally with the backup quarterback. He's transferring out. We all know the transfer window, all that shit. That can be a conversation for whenever. But I wonder how that affects this Penn State team with the internal noise going on. And SMU's ready. They've got Jennings at quarterback, who's electric. They've got a strong running back in Smith. I think they have some good speed on their team too. I know they had some issues against Clemson early in the game. What do you guys think on this one? Who wins this?
When I look at SMU and the Clemson game, I see more Clemson blowing opportunities in that game. I mean, it could have been a lot worse than what it was. They really let SMU stick around, and then that comeback in the second half, even though they still won. I'm not overly impressed with SMU. It's kind of like what you said about Notre Dame. When you look at who they played, and they was impressive in some games, but then in some they weren't as impressive in. Yeah. They lost the two big ones. They certainly have the speed, like you said, and their quarterback, I mean, he is an electric guy. I mean, they can definitely make stuff happen against a team does not win the big games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the ingredients are there for them to steal it from Penn State, but the weather they've never seen, and I think that will affect them a little bit. But, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think they could win the game, but my gut tells me Penn State just a little too much. But I think it'll be a close one.
Yeah, Trev, What do you feel? I know we don't like James Franklin that much as in the big ones. He obviously close game to Oregon, but close game to Ohio State.
As much as I want to pick SMU, going and playing these guys at home, I don't. Son of a bitch. I don't want to do this. God bless. Whatever. Penn State's going to win this game. I just don't want it to be a blowout. I want it to be a close game. And if SMU pulls it out somehow, I want them to. I hope they do it. But I think it's going to be Penn State.
Yeah.
I want SMU to get beat down ragged.
What?
Throw it in the streets. I want it to be bad.
No, I don't want this one to be bad. I want. What game do I want? I don't know what game I want, but there's a game I want to be bad. It's not this one though.
the Tennessee Ohio State one.
Yeah, probably.
No, listen. Right now Vegas has Penn State as 8.5-point favorites, and like you said, a lot of these bowl games or the playoff games. Notre Dame is 7-point favorites over Indiana. Texas 12-point favorites over Clemson. We'll talk about that in a minute. Everything seems to be pointing towards it being chalk, but this year we've seen craziness happen, and
this whole year has been crazy.
The way I feel like I'll take Indiana as my underdog on this one. I do think Penn State's going to be maybe a little bit too physical for SMU. I think it's just going to be a little too much, but I could see it being close. James Franklin doing something stupid, keeping them in there, punting. Like within, on the SMU 40 or something when he should go for it. That's standard issue for him. So we'll see what happens in that one. But I do think Penn State pulls it out. Now, next one. Let's talk. We got Clemson and Texas. Clemson got in by being, the ACC champ. What are you guys feeling on this one? Texas has had issues. Ewers. We've all talked about that one. Do they have enough to take down Clemson? What do you guys feel?
Clemson, yes. Everyone else, probably not. I don't know. God bless. This game sucks. I hate this game too. God bless. Because Club Me in My Face is going to probably do something that I'm going to applaud him for or something in this game because he's going to take down Texas. Because that's what I'm going to pick is Clemson over Texas.
You go. Oh, you rocking with that?
Klubnik taking them down in Texas. I think that while it's in Texas and it's going to be intense and everything like that, I just feel like it's not like Texas State. Like in Texas, I just feel like it's just not I'm looking for a dynamic place to play against Texas. Because we've seen, Oklahoma go into Texas and play them and beat them and, Texas, not really scary at all.
Not feeling the home advantage in Austin, are you?
No, I don't. I do not feel the home advantage in Austin only because I've seen Texas blow it before.
Yeah, I mean,
at home many of times. Where that, in theory, that stadium should give them plenty of advantages is how loud they get, how crazy they can be. But that being said, Clemson and Klubnik and a lot of the veterans on that team have played in some pretty dynamic games themselves. So I feel like Jacob, it's not always played in Dallas, by the way. So anyway, moving on.
The old
Clemson,
Red River
will
rivalry
pull away and win this 34-31.
Jacob said you're in timeout, Trevor.
No, I can mute you just as fast, buddy. I promise.
we got a battle going on in the comments. Listen, Texas has had issues in the past, but I do feel like they've been much better under Sark and been more consistent. But I agree. It comes down to Quinn Ewers, and really, I feel like the red zone has been a huge issue for him. And maybe Arch is the answer, Jacob. Maybe they put him in a little bit more, especially if this game gets close or squirrely. Clemson with Klubnik, I feel like he's had a really solid year. 33 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, but it's the team around him, at moments that has let them down. You look at the Louisville game, you look at South Carolina, it's just there's certain things about this team that I like, and then others that just make me question if they've got enough. But you got to lean on Maffa. You gotta let Klubnik go out there and try to win this football game, and you use the home field to your advantage. You got to find a way to get that crowd really going. Where's Matthew McConaughey's ass going to be? He better be front and center. Pumping up the crowd, buying everybody beer. Fully sell out, buy around for everybody. You got enough money, buddy. He said, "No, your play is trash." God damn. The comments, I love them. All right, let's move on. Unless Blake, did you have anything on this? I can't remember if you said something. My bad.
No, I didn't.
I stand corrected, by the way, real quick. I stand corrected. Since 1932, Jacob, 1932. It's been at the Cotton Bowl. So not always, but since 1932.
So, yeah.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
it's always been played. They just recently started playing in the new stadium. But, yeah.
It's not always because they were both established before 1932. So let's just be clear.
That's true.
Not
always not a factual statement on anybody. All right, let's be fair and balanced.
Let's be clear. Always is a very strong term.
But you were most recently wrong.
Sorry, continue.
Oh my God.
I think both teams have consistency issues.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball, even. I mean, they're very strong in some areas and then very weak in others. And I really think this is a coin flip game. I don't think it's an easy win for Texas, especially if Clemson can get their offense going and maintain that throughout the game. Like I thought they were doing, like if they play the first half how they played against SMU, I could see it, Clemson winning this game. But yeah. I really feel like Sark is a really good coach. And I think that I'm just feeling Texas, and I think they're in this to win it. They were cut short last year, and I think they're going to have a game plan this year, and I think it's going to work out for them.
Yeah, they need to. I feel like this is a huge moment for them. They cannot afford to be first round out, especially in the 12th team with how they did in the portal. The team that they've built, and recruited as well. But this feels like, hey, you have to win this game if you're Texas and Sark for momentum going into next year. Because then people start questioning your ability. Oh, you lost in the 14 playoff. You lost in the first 12-team playoff. Look at Oklahoma in the playoffs. How did they fare? They're 0-4 in playoff appearances. You don't want that shit hanging over your head. So this is a huge game for Texas, and I agree. I do think they come in ready to go. But I do think it's going to be very close, Blake, like you mentioned.
Speaking of one and done.
One and done.
Speaking of one and done, we want it. You want it.
Okay. Let's talk Ohio State, Tennessee. Obviously, Ohio State coming off of a tough loss to a offensively challenged Michigan team. I think they threw for 60 yards in that game and beat them.
Something like that.
How did they recover? Ryan Day was shell-shocked after the battle on the field. He was literally standing there while his players were assaulting the Michigan flag bearer. It's wild, man. And he stood there just like,
because he has too much Botox in his face. It's going to his fucking brain.
Oh, God. Blake, I hope we lost you. There he is. Yeah, it might be the Botox. I don't know, but I guarantee that dude is just staring there like, what is going on? How did this happen? How did it come to this? To quote Lord of the Rings. But it's just one of those games that Tennessee is ready. They've got strong offensive and defensive line. Do you think they pull this one off in the Horseshoe, boys?
Mm-hmm. Out of all the games, this is the one game that there is no chalk with this one. I feel like that Tennessee definitely has enough offensive power to take on Ohio State, and I really don't think that Ohio State has enough offense to go after Tennessee, but I could. I've been wrong plenty of times this season. I just hope I'm not wrong right now.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying here.
Well,
But yeah, I'm hoping Tennessee kind of takes a page out of Michigan's playbook and slows the game down instead of. I know they like to go fast. I know they like to spread it out and everything like that. But I think that Tennessee could go big on them and see if they can kind of push them around and wear that defense out first half and then try and open it up at the second half. But I don't know if they have enough moxie to do that.
Blake, you there, buddy? Yeah, I think Blake's having a little technical dish. Oh, yeah, there he goes. Yeah, so for me, it comes down. We'll see if he jumps back in. But I agree with you. The fronts for Tennessee, I think, are strong. And again, Ohio State towards the end of the season, they were dealing with injury issues. They held pretty well. When you look at it against like Indiana, they did fine. Penn State, they were able to recover and get the win. But against Michigan, they struggled at running the ball specifically. They could not run. And then passing wise, they were held, I think, to 10 yards in the fourth quarter. They cannot allow that to happen against this Tennessee team who's got a hungry defense. Offensively for Tennessee, though, it's a tale of two of that Iamaleavas. Because there's times he comes out and he looks good. There's moments that he throws that I'm like, okay, this guy's got it. But then there's others. Right. It feels, I don't know. It feels off to me. So we'll see which Tennessee team, shows up and how they handle this Ohio State crowd and, Will Howard, and how can he recover, because he kind of had a rough game against Michigan too. Especially at the end there.
He looked confused a lot of the time on what was happening.
He got whacked pretty hard, It's maybe that threw him off. I don't know.
That's his own damn fault for running. But that's just, like running and not knowing how to slide when he allowed himself to start getting tackled and he just got popped.
Yeah, he got popped. So we'll see if that's contributing factor, from that game, if he's able to recover. But like he has moments too where he puts nice touch on the deep ball, and he has moments where he can fit them into windows. I don't think he's incompetent. I think he's a good quarterback, but you need him to, in a game like this, when you got Tennessee coming up into your house in the 12-team playoff, where again you built a roster, you went out and got the best safety in the country, you went out and got one of the top running backs in Judkins, from last year's portal. You've got to step up in this game. If you're Ohio State, and Ryan Day better have a damn game plan ready, because the fan base.
Ryan Day's really lucky that they had a good enough season to make sure that they got in the playoffs, regardless if they were in the Big Ten championship or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
the
fan base is already furious. And I know Twitter is like an echo chamber or whatever, but when you look at the fans on there, they are pissed. They're losing out on guys like transfer type guys at the moment. Guys that they feel like they should go out and be able to get without issue. So I feel like there's questions amongst the fans and maybe players too. We'll see what happens, but it depends on what Ryan Day game plans, how they set this one up. But it's a huge match for them. And I'm curious what would happen if they lose this game. If it's close, I don't know if it'll be an issue.
But if it's, I think nothing will happen.
You don't think
a whole lot of complaining, bitching, moaning, crying, bolstering. Oh, we need to fire him. This, that, and the other. At the end of the day, Ohio State fans, your school cannot afford to fire him.
Yeah,
The buyout clause for Ryan Day is astronomical, and they've already spent a lot of money on the roster that you guys wanted. Take your licks. I mean, he's Botoxed up and he's ready to go.
He's ready
to spend the next dozen years as a Buckeye.
I gotta see where Jacob wrote. He made a comment. Okay, I'm trying to find it. He said, "Is Bobby Hill versus Just for Men?" Oh, Josh. I can't even say his last name, Heupel for Tennessee. Oh my God, dude, that's funny. That's a funny comment. So yeah, we'll see what happens with it, but I feel like Ohio State is going to find a way to pull this one off. I think it's going to be very tight though. The spread's 7.5. I don't know, man. I don't know how Ohio State recovers from that loss. You know what that did mentally to them. So we'll see. But I do think they find a way to win. It's going to be close. We'll see. Trev, you going with Tennessee?
Yeah. Yep. I want Alea is going to do what he does.
He's going to knock it down.
He's going to be the better quarterback in the game for sure, I think.
And we'll see what Ohio State does when it comes to kicking as well, because they've had issues with that in games, the regular season, but also shanking it against Georgia in the playoff too. That was tough. Blake is in the comments. He's picking Tennessee. He's having technical issues, so doesn't look like he's able to jump back in.
And then you mentioned portal problems with Ohio State. Let's just talk about that real quick. We're going to go through. So I know I mentioned the last live broadcast that we were going to do some transfer portal updates and things like that. So what we decided to do, what I decided to do, we were going to go position group by position group for the transfer portal. Just keep it to the top 10 and maybe like throw out some interesting ones here, there, and everywhere. So the top 11 quarterbacks, I did 11, and you'll know why as soon as I get down to the 11th one, because I feel like he needs to be mentioned at least, because I feel like he's still a top 10. He just got ousted by some ridiculous people that shouldn't be on this list. But anyway, obviously the number one quarterback in the class right now is John Mater out of Washington State. He's the most touted, highly thought of quarterback in this transfer portal class. And I'm going to brutalize this guy's name at number 2, but Luke Kromenheitz, whatever, from Florida State. And he committed over to Mississippi State. I don't know.
What'd you call him, Kromenheit?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't even read my own handwriting right now.
I don't know how to say it. It's Kromenhoek.
Hoke? Oh, is that a K? It looked like a Z. Shit.
I mean,
I wrote it down very, very quickly. So clearly, whatever. Anyway,
I was looking at him too, like, okay, who we had? You know, who is this?
Number 3 on the list, and this is all according to 247 Sports. Fernando Mendoza, which Brendan mentioned earlier when we were talking about Cal. He has yet to actually commit anywhere. So John Mater, I didn't mention it, but John Mater has not committed anywhere. Luke from Florida State goes to Mississippi State. Mendoza uncommitted at this point in time. There are rumors, but I don't deal in rumors. So until he actually commits, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Malik Murphy out of Duke. He is also uncommitted, but there is a rumor that I believe Brendan mentioned to me yesterday or the day before that he might be going to Kentucky, which would be a good fit if he does go. Then we got wonderful
the old Connor
Wagman from Texas A&M. He's staying in the great state of Texas, and he's going to go over to Houston and take his talents over there.
I think that'll be a good fit for him.
I think so too. They have a good spread offense, and I think that he'll fit right into their offense. Maybe we'll see. And let's see, number 6, I got Miller Moss out of USC. He actually committed to Louisville, if any of you didn't know. I didn't even know until I was doing the research on this. I was like, oh, well, that's news to me. Shows how much I care about USC and Miller Moss.
Well, and there's just so much going on in the portal, too.
There really is a ton. Man. There's really a ton. Darian Mensah out of Tulane, he's actually taking his talents over to Duke.
Yeah. And you're getting attacked by a bug.
Yeah, I got a little freaking moth flying at me in here.
And honestly, the Mensah one that you just mentioned, I think that might be even an upgrade over Malik Murphy.
I think so too. I thought the same exact thing. I thought the exact same thing.
Not trying to hate on Malik. not at all. But I feel like
Yes.
I like Mensa. I thought he's a solid quarterback.
I think he's a very solid quarterback. And number 8, we got Jackson Arnold from OU taking his talents to Auburn, which I think is a really great pickup for Auburn. I think Jackson Arnold. Now, don't get me wrong, Jackson Arnold definitely has his problems at OU.
Yes,
but with the way that Auburn runs their offense, I think that it will be a little less stressful for him. It's not as quarterback centric because they do a lot of gadgets. They do a lot of motion at Auburn and moving the wide receivers around and things like that. And they actually have a running game, which OU really didn't have. Well, they didn't utilize, I should say. They could have had a running game. They just never really did the running game thing.
Yeah,
until later on in the season. Later on in the season. Yeah, exactly right. And that until they played at Bama as well. Yeah. Let's see. Number 9 is Walker White out of Auburn, uncommitted.
Yeah.
At this point, Aaron Noland from Ohio State. I believe he's a freshman, so he'll have 3 years of eligibility left, I believe.
Yeah.
He's uncommitted as well. Who knows where he's going to go? I haven't looked to see what the rumor mill is saying about him, but I don't care either.
I haven't seen anything on him. I don't think he played at all this year. I think he should
not. He did not see the field once this year.
He should get a red shirt, right? And then he'll have 4.
Yeah, unless he actually suited up and was a part of the game day roster.
Yeah, I'd have to double check on that, but we'll see.
He may have all 4 years. We'll see. I mean, he may have actually took his red shirt. I'm not sure.
But it's strange though. I haven't heard anything about where he might land. You know, like these other guys.
There's no. I did not look at the predictions on 247 and what they were saying. I just know that he hasn't committed yet.
Yeah.
So, and then the last one, which is number 11, which I felt like was a great honorable mention that I really wanted to put in here, is Caden Salter out of Liberty University. He's transferring. He has not committed yet, but I feel like he would be a great addition to any program because I think he's a really good quarterback.
A couple that, if you don't mind, I throw in Castellanos. For those of you watching or that may not know, he committed from Boston College to Florida State. Well, Boston College just went and got their quarterback from Alabama in Dylan Longren. So they're filling their needs. Billy Edwards, we thought was going to maybe go to Michigan, is now going to Wisconsin. So Casper, if you're listening, you got you a quarterback. Yep. And then there was one other that I meant to. You told me to bring up. Oh,
Dampier. No. It was my hot. It was one that I was going to put up as a hot topic as far as he's been my favorite guy ever since the college football game came out.
Yeah,
I played with New Mexico right out the gate. He came out, and then I started watching New Mexico play, and he started getting playing time this season. So and he's taking his talents over to Utah, which I think is phenomenal for Utah fans. Should be very excited about that.
Oh yeah,
I mean he's small, but he's really the reason I like him so much is he's small. He's 5'10". He's kind of a smaller quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see how Utah uses him. But I think he reminds me mostly kind of like a Russell Wilson style quarterback. I mean, in his first full season starting, he had over 2,700 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, and he was number 2 in the Mountain West as far as quarterbacks go, just behind Boise State's quarterback. So, and
that's on a rough New Mexico squad that's kind of started figuring out this year under a new coach. But I agree with you. Sorry if I brought him up too early, but I saw his name and I was like, oh, that's it. I had to mention him. But either way, quarterbacks. Anything else on that? What else you got, Trey?
Nope, that's pretty much it. I just going through the top 10 of the top 10 and who's going where, who's leaving. If you've heard your team, or if you want to know about your team, we can touch base on a certain team on what they're doing.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Thank you for the comment.
Thank you, J-Bait. Appreciate you, man.
Is he going to turn off? Look at that. Yeah, I had no idea they would do that. That's strange. Hey, listen, I pay for YouTube TV. I should be able to do what I want. Oh my God. Oh man. But all right. Well, I appreciate you saying that. Definitely that means a lot. All right. Trev, did you
No, that pretty much wraps up what I was going to talk about for the quarterbacks of the transfer portal. Okay. Probably next show I'll be running through the running backs.
Yeah, and by then we should have a lot more clarity on where people are dropping.
Yeah, where people are going.
And we'll see what happens, this weekend. And of course, we've got the live show Sunday night. We'll hit that. We'll do the recap of the playoff games and, of course, the games that are on. Jay, I appreciate you saying that. As soon as it's done, I'm turning that damn thing back on. I'm watching that game. All right. But I do. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll find us. Send it. We'll see. We'll battle them in court. I've got lawyers. Not really, but I've watched Suits. All right. Anything else before we shut her down?
No, I think that does it for me, man.
All right, hell yeah. Well, listen, we appreciate you guys, and yeah, they are weird, man. Even Facebook, we've been having it like I don't know if anybody else, content, creators on here, watch stuff, but watching us right now. But we've had stuff on Facebook get taken down because they're like, oh, copyright infringement, like. On what? We made the video, we made the audio, so I don't know. Yeah, sure, of course.
Go for it, man. Shoot, what you got?
Fire away. Waiting for the comments to come in.
Yeah, just waiting for the comment. Jay Bake's got another thing to add real quick.
My man's on it.
My man, we love it. We love to see it. His typing fingers aren't moving fast enough, though.
We're just patiently waiting, watching. Oh my gosh.
Don't leave me in suspense for too long, Jay. Come on, man.
Type in Morse code. Type as fast as you can. There it is.
Oh, there we go. What do you say?
You said I'm in the
Alabama home of the recent Senior Bowl. I think NFL. What the heck? Hang on.
Get access to any draftees. I'm not exactly sure what you're getting at on that, my man.
All right.
Maybe
I appreciate you, buddy.
All right. Well, Jacob, bro, we're going to talk Michigan, I think, on the next one.
Next one we will.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. All right. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. That's definitely something.
Draft classes will be coming out probably a little bit post probably the initial playoffs. We'll talk about draft classes, where we think people might fall, things like that.
You're good, man. You're good. Hey, I'm partially stupid, so, and like I said, you get a little whiskey in me and my cheeks get all red and I whatever. So either way,
eat a lemon every once in a while, no big deal.
I did have to eat a lemon this year. But we do appreciate you guys. Jay Big, we appreciate you commenting. But yeah, we're gonna call it a night, and I'm gonna go watch this game, and see what's going down. But we hope you guys have a good night. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and comment on there, and of course subscribe is the word for it, and share if you like what you heard tonight. And like I said, we're just dudes just talking, trying to do garage talk with the boys. That's the type of thing we lean into. So we appreciate all you guys listening. We'll see you around.
All right, take care, everybody.
Yeah. We'll holler at you guys later. Bye.
Later.